Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Additionally, from December 12th, 2019 through January 27th, 2020, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a Theros Beyond Death Draft Booster Box. Also, there is another way to enter where no purchase is necessary. See the link in the description below for full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends. Welcome to another day of Theros Beyond Death previews. We have 24 cards to look at today. Any cards previewed by a content creator will have a credit in the description below. These cards started coming out last night because of the Game Awards that was going on, and they did their trailer for Theros there. And at the end of the trailer, they showed the two Planeswalkers that we've seen previously, as well as a Black Lotus, which got a lot of people confused right off the bat. But what they were trying to say is if you go over to Arena starting last night, and this is going to continue for a couple days, there are some event decks that have some of the new cards from Theros in there. But they also have like Power 9 and Underground Seas in one of them, Sol Ring. So they're just meant to be kind of fun decks that you can play for a couple days. And if you win, you can win packs of Theros when it comes out in a few weeks. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but it did kind of create a big buzz for a little bit till people figured out what was going on. Wizards also put out their mechanics article, which showcased some cards there, including some commons and uncommons. We'll look at all of it. Quick reminder, though, before we get into it, if you go over to FlipsideGaming.com right now and use that Heroes promo code for orders over $10, not only are you able to get 10% off like usual, but you're also going to be entered into a drawing to win a draft booster box of Theros Beyond Death. All the details are in the description below, and as always, if you use that promo code, it does help the channel, so thank you. But without any further ado, let's get into it. First things first, couple tokens, a Human Soldier and a Nightmare. These coincide with the Planeswalkers we saw the other day. And as you can see, these are pulled from Magic Arena, which is why they have that different looking border. Next, we have the Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers, which can be found in foil in the Planeswalker decks, of course, and can be found in non-foil within the collector boosters. The first one being Elspeth Undaunted Hero. It's going to cost 3 white and 2 for a legendary Planeswalker Elspeth, 5 loyalty, +2, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, -2, search your library and or graveyard for a card named Sunlit Hoplite and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. -8 until end of turn, creatures you control gain flying and get +X/+X, where X is your devotion to white. So obviously this deck looks like it's going to be a mono white deck. Don't really know what Sunlit Hoplite is yet. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. But like other Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers, I'm not really feeling this one for standard, but it's a fine casual card, and I would even entertain the thought of throwing this into a commander deck here or there. The second one feels actually a little bit better than the first one to me. Ashiok, Sculptor of Fears. This costs a black, a blue, and 4 legendary Planeswalker Ashiok. 4 loyalty, +2, draw a card. Each player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. -5, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. -11, gain control of all creatures target opponent controls. Again, with the 6 casting cost, I'm not necessarily feeling this for standard, but this is actually a little bit higher power level, I think, than a lot of these Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers typically are. This I would definitely be happy to play in a commander game. Being able to draw a card, get +2 loyalty, and actually mill myself as well as all my opponents at the table in a multiplayer game like Commander could be interesting. On my next turn, if I can protect this, I could even -5 if I want to, and there could be some good targets in a commander game. The -11 probably won't get there. If you ever did, wonderful, but I'm definitely at least intrigued by this card. Commanding Presence. Now, typically a forecasting cost aura like this that doesn't necessarily do anything when it tries to enter the battlefield or doesn't offer any special protection to the creature, I would say it's kind of a risk to play. Really easy to get 2 for 1 in Drafter Sealed. But in this set, I am more flexible. Enchantments are more powerful than just what is written on the card because of the other cards that are alongside them. So I could see myself playing this at least occasionally in Drafter Sealed. Daxos Blessed by the Sun. On the left is the regular copy, on the right is the showcase copy. So what does this thing do? Well, basically you get yourself a 2-drop with a ton of upside. Now it is 2 on color, which normally I would say is a little bit of a drawback and limited. In this case though, because color devotion is a thing within the set, maybe this is sometimes upside. But beyond that, minimally you're going to get a 2/2 for 2. It's legendary, sure. However, look at everything else that's happening here. It is an enchantment creature, which will definitely matter in this set because enchantments are going to matter a lot. You're going to see more of that as we go through today. And also the upside of whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain 1 life. This is going to be a very strong limited uncommon, probably first pickable in a lot of packs, I have no doubt. And I think it has a chance at seeing some standard play. Maybe it's out of sideboards against aggro decks or something like that, but I do think it does have potential there. Next we have Hero of the Winds, and this one I don't have a lot to say about it. It's a limited card, and it will be fine for you, I have no doubt, as a limited uncommon with flying and some potential to be buffed. Basically, the heroic mechanic officially didn't come back within the set, but this is a nice nod to it. Indomitable Will. This is a fine limited card. It's an enchantment aura at common. This one is a reprint from Champions of Kamigawa, and it does have flash, so you can use it as a combat trick, which is nice. But the main reason you might be playing this in Draft and Sealed is because it is an enchantment. Like I said, that's going to matter a lot. Leonin of the Lost Pride. Good limited common here. A 3/1 for 2, like those are just fine, but there's upside on this one. Whenever this dies, you get to exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. And in a set called Beyond Death, which I'm assuming means we're going to see some graveyard recursion going on, this could actually be a good utility card. Nixborn Colossus. If you look at this card first right off the bat, you're going to say this economy seems terrible. 2 white and 1 for a 3/1. But I do think it's still going to be playable and limited because it is an enchantment creature, and it does have 2 on color in the casting cost. So this is going to work well with Devotion as well as Constellation. Revoke Existence. This is going to be a fine limited card. It's a reprint. The thing to remember with something like this, it's going to be a lot better in this set compared to other sets because a lot of the creatures are also enchantments. You're going to have a lot of strong enchantments, no doubt. So this is easily main deckable, I think, in the environment. Eidolon of Philosophy. This is a 1-drop enchantment, so if you want to get an enchantment out on the battlefield quickly in Draft or Sealed, this is a good way to do it. And what's nice about this is if the game goes longer, well, good news, there's something you can do about it. You can sack this thing for a blue and 6 and draw 3 cards. Not the most amazing economy, but at least it gives you some utilization if you draw this late. Memory Drain, not a lot to say about this one. A fine limited counterspell. Counter target spell, scry 2 for 2 blue and 2. Yeah, if I'm trying to be more controlling in Draft or Sealed, I'll take it and be happy with it. Inevitable End, another enchantment aura notice as the theme continues. Now, what's interesting about this one is I could put this on my opponent's best creature, and if they don't have any other creatures, they're going to have to sacrifice it. And if they do have other creatures, they have a decision to make. Do they hang on to their big creature and let you whittle down their board state by taking out their maybe less important creatures? Or do they just go ahead and sacrifice the big creature right then? So it does put the decision in the opponent's hands, which isn't great. I don't love that. But I think a card like this, especially considering it is an enchantment aura, yeah, it will probably see some play, definitely in Draft or Sealed, and could be decent at times. With that being said, too, remember in a pinch, if you really needed a sack outlet, you could put this on one of your creatures as well. Mire's Grasp. Okay, this is good removal right here. It's an enchantment aura again, so fitting into the theme of what's going on here. But it only costs you 2, and the enchanted creature gets -3/-3. So if you put this on a big creature, wonderful, you made it smaller, and you have an enchantment aura in play. Secondly, if you just need to remove a creature with 3 toughness or less, well, there you go, you can do that for 2 mana. Again, I feel this is going to be a pretty strong common in the Draft and Sealed environment. The Akroan War. Okay, this card was part of the leak, as well as a lot of the other cards we're talking about that occurred a few weeks back. Now, if you followed that leak, you knew this was coming and that sagas were coming back. But if you didn't, hey, surprise, sagas are coming back. I think these cards are super sweet. I'm glad to see them back again, and especially in the set, considering they're enchantments that are going to hang around for a few turns. Really seems like a good fit. With that being said, what about this one? I think it's a decent limited card. I don't think it's the most amazing rare necessarily that we're going to see when it comes to sagas in the set. I feel like this is a card that if you're behind isn't going to help you all that much. Your opponent's going to want to be attacking anyway, and even though, yes, eventually they could lose all their creatures or a lot of their creatures, it still might be a little too slow to save you. Now, if you're in a board stall and you're able to take their best creature and then force them to attack into your stuff, and then maybe crack back or then maybe get rid of a lot of their things, well, that's a different story. Then, yeah, you might be able to pull ahead with a card like this. If you're already ahead, this could slam the door on the game, too. Underworld Ragehound. Okay, so this is a card that is a 3/1 for 2 as well, and it does have plenty of upside again. Now, there is a little bit of potential downside. It does have to attack each combat if able, but other than that, there's some good things going on here. Escape is back for a red and 3 in this case. We saw that mechanic the other day in Elspeth. And also, if you use Escape, then it also gets a +1/+1 counter, making it a 4/2 when it comes back into play. That's nice. Ultimately, if you're playing an aggressive build in Draft or Sealed, this is going to be great for you. And maybe, just maybe, it could see some standard play if there's an aggressive deck that's running a lot of burn spells. then this is going to be a pretty persistent beater for a deck like that if they can keep bringing it back. Klothys' Design. This is going to be a good limited card, especially if you have a lot of green, a lot of trample creatures, right? Could help you close out a game. Now, if you're playing sealed and not draft, maybe you don't have a mono green deck perhaps, but if you're heavy green or in a Gruul build, for example, I think this is still going to be very good for you. Nixborn Colossus. Okay, so this is a big dumb creature, 4/7 for 6. Typically, I would say many times this might not even make your cut in draft or sealed, but we are in a very unique environment when it comes to Theros. In this case, remember, this is an enchantment, and it also has heavy green devotion. Citizen Champion. On the left, you see the regular copy. On the right is the extended art version. And this is a pretty sweet rare. 1/3 for green and 2 human warrior. Constellation, yep, that's back, like I alluded to earlier. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on this and draw a card. Okay, obviously, this is going to be a fantastic card for limited. In draft, you could pick this up early and it's just going to be good. You could try to build around it. Or you could pick it up late and still have enough cards that are going to work for this because of the enchantment shenanigans going on here. It's also going to work well in sealed too because, again, you're just going to have enough support for this, I have no doubt. Commander players, do you like to play enchantment decks? Well, I got the card for you. Here it is. It's going to be fantastic there. And it could even see some standard play. I do think the card is a little situational, though. It's not just going to slide into any deck. But if there is an enchantment-focused deck, which maybe there is, depending on what else comes out in this set, then yeah, this is definitely going to be a part of it. That could also be true to Pioneer to some degree as well, just because that's a format that's still trying to figure itself out. If Theros brings enough support, who knows, maybe between what we have from the last Theros block, this, and other cards that are out there, there could be a build in there somewhere too. Staggering Insight. There's a staggering amount of upside for this card, actually, for 2 mana. Granted, it is 2 different colors, but creatures getting +1/+1, lifelink, and curiosity. Yeah, that is a lot. In draft or sealed, this is going to be a good enchantment. Sure, you got to consider these type of things might open you up for a 2-for-1 from time to time, but I think this one is worth the risk. Even if I wasn't taking into consideration that this set cares so much about enchantments, this also could have some standard potential, maybe in a Flyers build, something like that. Wizards also showed off some regular basic lands, so they did say that the ones we saw the other day will be what you get out of booster packs, like the draft packs and collector boosters. But if you bought a Planeswalker deck or a bundle pack, these would be included. So for each one, you get to see Theros and also the underworld of Theros that corresponds with each land type. In this case, here's the Plains, Island, Swamp, Mountain, and Forest. That wraps up our look at the latest crop of previews, and we're going to come back this weekend and do the market watch as we always do. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on anything we talked about today or anything you saw at the Game Awards. I didn't mention yet that they actually also announced last night that they would be going ahead with that Magic role-playing game, the multiplayer one. So that's actually pretty interesting. I want to learn more about that too. Until next time though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon and have a great day.